And she has stepped up her game in that opportunity. Caitlin Clark for three, rattles it around for her first deep shot. Enley working it around here for the Fever. Good ball movement on this possession. Logo shot. Logo make for Clark.
Off Caitlin when she gives the ball up.
Well, the Fever on a 15-2 extended run from the end of the first quarter. Clark again heating up.
They've been trying. Chicago's been trying to find a way to get Rachel Banham going. That's one way.
Count the packets. Caitlin Clark has an and one.
Clark, a deep three.
So yeah, the Indiana Fever are still to this day setting record viewership. And when I say record viewership, I mean record viewership. This is something that I don't think we've ever seen before. This is more viewed than Game 5 of the finals. This is the most viewed Caitlin Clark game. 3.3 million viewers. 3.3 million viewers. I repeat, 3.3 million. That is like scary. And I get it, she set the Amazon Prime record a couple of games ago. And do you want to know what the crazy thing about this is? That there is no Caitlin Clark, no Angel Reese in this game. And there is no Paige Beckers, there's no AJ Wilson. This was Caitlin Clark versus a Chicago Sky team who have been terrible. Who have been absolutely terrible. So I think a lot of people are going to be talking about this and talking about how, oh yeah, like, you know, the reason why Caitlin Clark was able to break those records is because of this other player. Oh, look, you see, it's Caitlin versus Angel. That game broke the record. No. Caitlin versus a team, a non-playoff team, is the most viewed game of all time.
Today, these numbers are huge. Massive ratings coming out of this past Sunday's Sky Fever game on NBC. 3.3 million people tuned in. Damn. Caitlin Clark continues to be the biggest draw in women's basketball by a mile and one of the biggest draws in American professional sports. 3.3 million viewers. Now, if you're the WNBA, this game had everything you could hope for. It had the #1 star in the league. Check. It had the #2 star in the league. Check. It had Caitlin Clark going off for 37 and 10. Check. It had the Indiana Fever victorious. Check. It had Caitlin Clark's running mate Kelsey Mitchell having a good game as well. Check. And it had the drama that the WNBA seems to love the most. Check. Natasha Cloud and Enes Kanter going woman to woman on the baseline. That game had everything that the WNBA could hope for. But that wasn't the only game that did very well. Caitlin Clark on Amazon Prime against the Dallas Wings. Oh yeah, we're setting records anywhere we play. What's the catchphrase that Nike has for Caitlin Clark? From anywhere. Caitlin Clark draws viewership from anywhere. Has people attending her games from anywhere.
Well, it's everybody else. It's everybody else in the Angel Reese, Olivia Miles. It's because Kelsey and everybody else except Caitlin Clark. Well, I'm pretty sure the ratings just put a resounding stamp on that. By the way, people will still try to make excuses or other reasons, whatever it is. The mentally retarded mental gymnastics they will jump through to try to figure out why are the Fever ratings now the biggest ratings ever? Question mark. Oh, let's start here, and we'll get to the ratings. By the way, she broke the Amazon Prime rating too. Just throwing that out. Look at the scratches all over Caitlin Clark's arm after the game. But she still put up a personal best 8 3-pointers and 37 points and 10 assists. Look at this. She got a bruise right here. Scratch, scratch, bad scratch.
Caitlin Clark admitting it. We all know when she does it. Caitlin Clark let Stephanie White know, damn it, I'm going rogue. I'm going rogue. And you know what that led to? That led to that barrage that she put on the Chicago Sky. Caitlin Clark understanding when it's time to go rogue. I think she needs to go rogue every single game. We have to get into that. Okay. And also the takeover. The Caitlin Clark takeover continues. Over 3.3 million views versus the Chicago Sky. The most watched regular season WNBA game since the league's inaugural 1997 season. We got to get into it. The Fever Sky matchup drew 3.31 million viewers across NBC and Peacock, the most watched regular season game since the league's inaugural 1997 season. It's not because of all of us. It's not because of Me Too. It's because of 22. The little white girl from Iowa that you all are jealous and hating on. That is who it is, because this is crazy. I mean, just record-breaking numbers across the board. It never, ever stops. NBC Sports PR. Fever Sky on NBC and Peacock delivers 3.31 million viewers, the most watched regular season game since the opening weekend of the WNBA's inaugural season. This is not because of everyone, people. This is because of the one and only, Caitlin the GOAT Clark.
We have to talk about this because everybody and their mama talking about it. I seen it earlier today, and at this point, it's damn near not even worth reporting on. Caitlin Clark gonna set viewer records every time she step on the court. Every time she step on the court, they're going to break records. It's been reported that historic ratings for Fever versus Sky. NBC confirmed that the Indiana Fever 113-90 blowout victory against the Chicago Sky pulled in 3.3 million viewers, officially becoming the most watched WNBA regular season game since the league's inaugural season opening weekend in 1997. So the first weekend of WNBA ever, Caitlin Clark has pulled in those type of numbers, and I'm pretty sure Caitlin Clark is going to hit the 5 million mark before the season out, because the closer we get to playoffs, it stated Caitlin Clark 37 points, 10 assists, Kelsey Mitchell 30 points combined for 67 points to power Indiana dominant offense. The Fever featured off-court headlines as former NBA players enter Candace Freedom was ejected from Windhurst Arena in the third quarter. The WNBA boom is in full effect, and the numbers speak for themselves. It's not the numbers speak for themselves. It's Caitlin Clark is in full effect. That's what they keep. You got to put, because no one else is doing these numbers.
Chicago staying in it. Natasha Cloud. And right before the break, this was the scene inside Wintrust Arena. After Natasha Cloud got that bucket, she wanted her voice heard. We have talked about the conversations surrounding the W. That is Enes Kanter in the building today.
Clark, a deep three!
113-90, Caitlin Clark drops 8 3 balls on the Chicago Sky. Kelsey Mitchell goes 6 for 9 at the 3-point line, but there's so much we need to talk about because this game was completely won from distance. Oh, and yeah, Enes Kanter Freedom decides to show up to this game, and it was just drama.
Courtside drama during last night's Indiana-Chicago WNBA game. Take a look.
And right before the break, this was the scene inside Wintrust Arena after Natasha Cloud got that bucket. She wanted her voice heard.
All right, that's former NBA center Enes Kanter Freedom. He was escorted out of last night's game after confronting Chicago Sky guard Natasha Cloud. You could see Cloud yelling and pointing at Kanter, who was wearing a black T-shirt that said, quote, woman, noun, adult, human, female.
All right, you guys, let's talk about the madness one last time until we close the book on all of this. We send it on its way and we ignore it for the rest of our lives, shall we? So obviously there was an altercation last night in the Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever game. It was Natasha Cloud and Enes Kanter. Honestly, when I first saw this, when I was watching the game live, I only saw it from Natasha Cloud's point of view, like the camera that was following her, and I was nervous. I was like, oh no, like who is she getting into it with on the Indiana Fever? Like there's bad blood between these two teams, like what happened? And then the camera pans and she's going off on Enes Kanter, who was sitting courtside. Now when she starts walking towards him and kind of telling him off, he stands up, puts his arms out, and starts walking onto the court. Like he takes a step onto the court. That was the reason he was ejected. I'm seeing so many people saying like, oh, he shouldn't have been ejected. Like, what did he do wrong? He walked onto the court. That's what he did wrong. Like that is that is basic courtside etiquette. If a player were to be charging at me and I was sitting courtside, say it was a male NBA player, and I stood up and walked on the court and went like that, I would also be kicked out of the arena.
Natasha Cloud found some way to make last night's game all about her. As the Chicago Sky are getting crushed in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, Natasha Cloud decides to crash out on a fan courtside. That fan was wearing a shirt that said woman on it, and Natasha Cloud couldn't bear the sight. All the horror. So Natasha Cloud starts approaching this was a woman sitting courtside. Natasha Cloud starts approaching this female sitting courtside and starts going off, screaming at them, cursing at them, yelling at them. And somehow this female fan is the one that gets kicked out. Somehow this female fan, just sitting courtside, minding her own business, gets kicked out because Natasha Cloud couldn't control herself. So let me get this straight. Natasha Cloud, within the span of a week, uses a homophobic slur. Then she goes back and forth with a fan courtside, gets the fan kicked out, and no punishment for Natasha Cloud. Folks, in any other league, if you use a homophobic slur during a press conference, you're getting fined, at worst, suspended. Folks, in any other league, if you're screaming at a fan courtside, especially an innocent female fan, if you're screaming at that person courtside, there's going to be some punishment coming down from the league. But not in the WNBA. Not in the WNBA.
What happened tonight?
What happened tonight? Good question. So I was literally out there. I mean, I'm a huge fan of basketball, a huge fan of women's basketball, and I was there to watch the game, and I was really excited because I'm a huge fan of the Fevers. And so I was just literally just there to just watch the game. And then first half went amazing. I was having so much fun with my friends and stuff. And then it was towards the end of the third quarter. And Sophie Cunningham shot a three. And I put my hands up to celebrate, right? Literally a couple positions later, Natasha came back and started screaming and yelling and said, she's not going to sleep with you. And I was like, I am not trying to sleep with her. I'm just here to protect women and support her. And then obviously after that, she started yapping and she started to walk towards me. And literally I just got up and then I was like, I'm just here to protect women and that's all, right? And then she started to yell. She started to use some very heavy language. She started to actually cuss. And I was very shocked that there were a lot of kids and there were a lot of teenagers was at that game. And I just cannot believe that she was just cussing and using those F-bombs in front of all these kids. And that is not, I mean, I'm sure like she's loved in Chicago and many kids and idolizing her and stuff, but that's not a WNBA athlete should react, you know? And then anyway, and then after that, the the security guy, came, and then I was like, listen, you need to leave. I was like, can you please tell me why do I need to leave? They said, look, you just need to leave. And then they literally, I don't want to say they dragged me, but like they pretty much like pushed me to leave the gym. And then after that, I had a conversation with the police officers, which I respect a lot. I was like, listen, I was just there to protect women.